Welcome back to another episode of Smooth Operator Trucking, where we try to create the dream 1 mile at a time. It's your boy, the Smooth Operator. Alright, today I'm going to be telling you guys about one of my favorite loads I did at Landstar, going from Orlando, Florida to Chesapeake, Virginia. I called on the load, I get the load. Now the load is going 749 miles, okay? 749 miles. It's got to be picked up one day and then delivered the next day. And in my mind, when I was doing the math, I was like, okay, you know, I got this, because I was coming from Port Orange, Florida. And I forget how far Port Orange, Florida from Orlando is. But the way I had it set up was I would get to the shipper and then, you know, take my 10-hour break. And by the time they were done unloading me the next morning, you know, I'd have a fresh clock, shoot over to Orlando, get loaded up, and haul ass to Chesapeake, Virginia. You know what I mean? So all right, cool. Accordingly, everything's go according to plan. I get there to the shipper or to the receiver, get unloaded. Matter of fact, he comes and knocks on my door. Love when that happens. Comes and knocks on my door and it's like, hey, we're ready to go ahead and unload you, like 2 or 3 hours early. All right, cool. So he gets me unloaded, and you know, by the time he gets me unloaded, my 10-hour break is complete. Haul ass over to Orlando, pick up this load going to Chesapeake. They get me loaded up pretty fast, and then I start heading to Chesapeake. Now, 750 miles in one day. Whew, man, that's a lot. And you know, the more I got to thinking about it and doing the, you know, trip planning, which I should have did before, but I was like, there is no way that I'm going to make it in the morning by, I think they wanted me to be there by like 7 o'clock. There's no way I'm going to make it by 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, I would have to take at least one 10-hour break. And so, I mean, yeah, I mean, going straight up 95, not too bad. So I said, well, let me try. So I start heading up 95, and I'm actually making pretty decent time. I called the agent, let them know, said, hey, you know, look at this load, man. You know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there at 7 o'clock the next morning. Because remember, it was a pickup one day and the delivery on the next. I can't remember if it was like a pickup on a Wednesday and delivery on Thursday or something like that. And he's like, well, you know, just do the best you can, like they always say. So I was like, okay. You know, I ended up shutting it down at the Iowa 80 truck stop or / Petro in Kenly, North Carolina. So 10-hour break complete. I get up, start hauling ass, continue to Chesapeake, Virginia. So I haul ass towards Chesapeake. I finally get to Chesapeake probably like around 8:30ish. And I go inside and I talk to the receiving, shipping and receiving. And first thing the guy says is like, what are you doing here? I'm like, okay, what do you mean? What am I doing here? He's like, this load's not supposed to come until tomorrow. I'm like, wait a minute. Well, I mean, the agent told me that the load had to be here this morning by 7 o'clock. So it was like, even though I was an hour and a half late, I was actually a day early. So I was like, okay, you know, well, what are we gonna do? He said, well, unfortunately, like, all of the contractors are gone, and we can't unload you until tomorrow morning. It's like, you could drop the trailer here, go bobtail, you know, to a truck stop or whatever, but I can't afford for you to take this load back because, you know, if I miss one load, that would just about put me out of business. I guess, you know, basically what it was a load full of, I guess those carpet insulation or protector. I guess you put them underneath the carpet as you're installing carpet. And so, I mean, he had rows and rows and rows of this stuff, and I guess he needed daily, or I think that load went up there 2 or 3 times a week. So it was kind of odd that the agent didn't know that, you know, but it is what it is. So I'm sitting there like, man, like I can't afford to, you know, sit here a whole day because I've got another load that I've got to pick up, you know, in a few hours. You know, I had to pick that load up in Suffolk, Virginia, and it was going to Knoxville, Tennessee. So he's like, man, I don't know what to tell you, because, you know, basically the contractors come in and they have their workers, and their workers will unload the truck and put them on their vans as they go to do their jobs on their job site. And he doesn't have any workers there. I mean, he's got 1 or 2 guys there, but they're doing other things. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. So, you know, went back to the truck, did a little thinking, and then, you know, so I speak a little bit of Spanish, and most of the guys, they were still hanging around a little bit, you know, loading their vans up with the other carpet, whatever. They were Hispanic. And so I walk up to him like, hola, ¿cómo está? Lo siento, mi español es muy mal, pero yo sé 10 palabras más o menos en español. Yo necesito ayuda. ¿Tiene jefe o es tu jefe? And so the guy, you know, talks to me, whatever, and I'm like, ¿Tiene equipos quien quieres trabajar hoy? Yo necesito ayuda para mi camión. Yo puedo pegar. And he's like, un momento, you know. So he makes some phone calls, whatever, and you know, it's like, lo siento, todo preocupada con otro trabajar. And I was like, todo bien, gracias, buen día. And so then I'm like, all right, back to the drawing board. What do I do now? You know. So then I'm like, you know what? I've got another load to pick up. I'm gonna go ahead and talk to them, see if I can unload this truck by myself. So I go back up to the shipping and receiving manager. I'm like, hey, look, is it all right if I unload this truck by myself? He was like, sure. He said normally, you know, we have 30 guys here by 7 o'clock, and that was the reason why the agent was telling me to get there by 7, because at 7 o'clock in the morning is when the contractors and their workers get there, and they actually they literally, I guess, unload that truck in like 15 minutes, you know. So it's like, it takes them 15 minutes, man, and that's 30 guys. It's probably gonna take you the whole day to unload it. And I said, well, you know, I've got to try, because I've got another load I've got to pick up, you know. And so I drink some water, and I go to work, and I start unloading this truck one by one. I mean, what I did was I took what we call in the military, we call it an academic hour or a work hour. Basically, you work 50 minutes on, 10 minutes off, and that's what I was doing. And this was back in let's see here. This was, I want to say, in August. Yeah, August. So it was quite warm out. You know, it wasn't too bad, but it was quite warm out. So I started unloading this truck one piece at a time, and you know, putting it where they want them and everything. And I mean, it had to be, I don't know, it was like at least 300 of these things. Might have been more, but it was at least, it was a truckload full of these carpet insulating pads. And every once in a while, one of the contractors workers would come along, and if they needed some, they would grab some and take it directly to their van. So they helped out a little bit, but that only happened like 3 or 4 times. And I was watching the one guy, and he showed me another way to do it. Like, basically, instead of carrying one at a time on my shoulder, he would put them on the ground and then drag 2. I did that a few times, but that was not sustainable for one guy doing it for as long as time I took. So it took me about 4 or 5 hours to complete unloading that trailer all by myself. But like I said, I was highly motivated because I had another load after that, you know. So I get done unloading everything, and you know, they sign the paperwork, and I'm good to go. And I head on down the road, you know. I think that whenever I checked my settlement that following week, I noticed that the agent had put on there, he added $300 on there for driver assist. And so I thought that was pretty amazing. You know, at Landstar, you know, the customer, the agent is your customer. And I guess the customer there, the shipping receiving manager, told the agent what I did. And so without me even asking, he went ahead and added $300 of driver assist. Now, I don't know if the agent knew that the load didn't have to be there until the next day or not. I know sometimes things get lost in communication. You know, when you call, you verify those things. Hey, just verifying, is this load picking up this date? Is it delivering this date, this time, blah, 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 blah. And I did all that. So, like I said, I don't know if some kind of way the communications got crossed or whatever. But at the end of the day, it worked out, and you know, I got extra $300 on top of it. So that was really really gratifying moment for me to have that happen. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button, leave a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel. All right, and as always, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Hard times don't last, hard truckers do. And last but not least, stay smooth, my friends.